Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. I just put that on back. No, it was right. I mean, my head's on backwards, so it might be wrong anyway, but here we are. I'm sure the desktop audio is correctly set at this point because it was having problems again earlier. Hopefully today the game will just start. When you just start the stream, it'll just work and it'll be fine. But that's just a hope. We'll just find out. Just slowly lowering my my volume, and so it shows the last thing that you had playing as paused, and so the last thing that I had playing was a video on Twitter that I found, which is hilarious. Well, that a friend of mine showed me on Twitter, the TikTok, and it's hilarious. But the screen name of the user who posted it is is what shows up on my screen as like what was last playing, like where the song would normally be. It's just Shibari at Hobby Lobby. So I'm just like, good. It's an excellent TikTok too. I don't know if there's a way that I can show it to you easily. My thingy has not been particularly kind to me. The browser is too small. Yeah, let's do this. Maybe? Oh, that's too much. Oh, that's too much. There we go. Okay, we're gonna watch this as group. Here we go. Have fun time. If you ever wanted to know what it was like in Boston, it's TikTok is basically Vine 2.0. If you know what Vine is, it's just Vine. It really is just Vine. So when the whole like we're banning TikTok thing started coming up, I was like, rest in peace TikTok, long live Vine. I mean, the fact that Vine came back as Byte now is like, you guys need to slow down.
The destination of this train is North Station. Entering Boylston. Doors will open on the right. Bus connection. Change here for the blue line. Last stop. Thank you for riding the T.
I just love it. The screeching noise in the middle. Oh, that's the Boylston Bend. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Oh my god, I love it. It's just green line terribleness. Change here for the blue line. Oh, that's maybe one of my two favorite videos of all time involving specifically the MBTA, which, for those of you who don't know, stands for Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, which is the Boston Underground, the Boston train, the Boston whatever you want to call it, Boston subway. We call it the T. It was originally called the T because train. They were very, very, very creative lot. Let me tell you. After listening to this, I am now like obsessed with finding this audio, but I found out that she made it herself, which is amazing. But I just want to like download TikTok, message her specifically. Excuse me, I really need you to send me that MP3, please. I want to work that into my drag act so badly, you have no idea. Also, I have ice cream. This is a mudslide sundae, and it's a mudslide sundae because the ice cream is what's it called? Bailey's Irish Cream flavored, or Irish cream, not Bailey's specifically, but you know, Irish cream. It's hot as balls. It was in the high 90s again today. It's probably going to be like that for like the rest of this week because God hates us. Thank God for central air, but man, we are paying for it. Literally, like ka-ching, paying for it. Electricity does not come cheap in the state of Massachusetts. But yeah, like easily in the 90s. Just like the absolute terrifying We didn't have thunderstorms today, though we were expecting them. Didn't happen. I'm trying to find the other video, so give me a moment while I look for that. Let me see, because this is the orange line. No, it was the orange line. It made like awful, wonderful noises. Um, yeah, I really didn't want. I definitely don't want um, another one of those. Yeah, I was pretty tired of the whole just just stop with the thunder. Give me like max 82-degree weather. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for fall. Ugh. I cannot find this thing. We do get an actual fall, and it's a very pretty fall, no less. So, like, very happy about that. Ooh, excuse me. I'm trying to remember what place is this video. I need to show this video. Damn it. Summer 2.0. I mean, I have heard that like so the thing that I've definitely heard the most about is like the Bay Area in particular gets like actual summer in September. Like it gets warm during the summer, but then it gets hot in September. And I could not handle that. I don't know that I could handle it. I sent this to myself. Did I send this to myself? I might have sent it quite a while ago. Audio files. Oh god. Ha, my SpongeBob meme. Good. I mean, that's what I've heard at least. Again, I've never been out there. One of these times in my I'll get there. Ugh. Ugh, no, I could not. See, September for us is we're finally like coming down off summer. You get like 80s at the beginning of the month, and then by the end of the month, you're down in the 70s. And it's like starting to get perfect. October, you have a couple weeks of 70s, and then it starts dropping down into the 60s sometimes. Every once in a while in October, you can get kind of a weird year where it's like gonna snow on Halloween. That definitely happened when I was in college. That was great. By great, I mean not. Um, Basically, by the end of October, by Halloween, it is cold, and you better be ready for it to be cold. Um, so yeah, I was figuring it was probably something kind of close to what I had to deal with in Georgia. In Georgia, sucks. I absolutely hated dealing with Georgia because the one thing California has going for it better than Georgia is that there's not nearly as much uh what's it called, humidity. That's right. Yep, you got it. I cannot find orange line video that I had, and it is going to kill me. It must have been in. I must have. Come on, beep boo. I need the beep boo. Yeah, I'll admit, dry heat, visiting dry heat at the very least, isn't so bad. So like, yeah. Excuse me. Excuse me again. I mean, I just hate the humidity. Just the a massive amount of just bleh, you just stuck with almost. I am really struggling to find this damn video, and I don't know that I can find it at this point. Ah, I did find it. Okay, it is a video. Okay, let me send that to myself to make sure I don't forget it again.
Community college.
You had to have heard that. That's that's one of our lines. One of our lines. Specifically, it's called the orange line because it's the orange. It just has the most sickly, sad sounding chime.
Community college.
It's just, "Meh, meh." I love I love the MBTA dearly. It's supposed to be like boo boo, basically, but it just again, just I this is what happens when you live on the oldest subway system in the United States. Um, Not that the Orange Line is old. The Orange Line is actually relatively newer. The one that the TikTok was about, that was actually the Green Line. And the Green Line is the oldest one in the country. Um, the stretch that even she was talking about to Boylston Street is like turn of the century in terms of how old it is. Like turn of the century, and the signaling system that they use down there still today is from the 1910s. Like it's not new. So come visit Boston. You might die, you might not. I mean, to give a quick overview for those of you who want to know about the MBTA, real quick, we've got 5 lines, 5 main lines. We don't count the commuter rail because Purple Line, it's a thing, but it's a train. It's not really a subway. It's not a hop on, hop off kind of thing. You have to do tickets, and it's like a whole thing. But we have 5 main lines for the MBTA. T. There's the orange line, the green line, the blue line, the red line, and the silver line. Um, just in general, I can kind of go over them in a rough ranking of my own. So, for anyone who is from the Boston area and has very strong opinions about this, these are my opinions. They're not necessarily true. If you have different ones, that is fine. But we basically have the Silver Line, which I'm just going to leave out of the ranking in general because it's not actually a train, it's a bus. It's an electrified bus that goes underground sometimes, and then other times is above ground, and sometimes is electrified, and sometimes isn't electrified. And it's not really one continuous line, it's actually like 2 or 3 different routes. So nobody likes it. Nobody asked for it, but that's what we've got. It takes you to the convention center and it takes you to the airport, which is good, I guess. The airport part is fine. I mean, one of the nice things about the Silver Line is it actually goes to each individual terminal of the Boston Logan Airport, which Logan is another weird thing. Instead of having one big terminal where you go and like take a train to something else, it's there. You actually have to drive to the different terminals or walk between terminals A, B, C, and E. Um, so the Silver Line will go to each one, and it is free at that point of entry. So like if you are getting off a plane and you walk right outside, you can hop right on the Silver Line, and it will take you down to South Station, which is nice. Um, so Silver Line, we don't like you. We're not talking about you. We don't like you very much. Moving on. Um, I want to say the best one of them has to be the Blue Line. And I know that's a bit of a controversial opinion, but the reason why it's the best is because nobody uses it, because it's practically useless. It goes to I can't remember what the other terminus is, but one of the terminus, one of the end terminals is Wonderland, which is a perennial joke. You can catch the train to Wonderland. There's nothing wonderful about Wonderland, but you can catch the train there. And it stops at the aquarium, which is the other nice thing about it. And it's kind of neat that the aquarium is on the Blue Line. Now, that being said, because it stops at the aquarium and is nearby the waterfront for quite a lot of it, the aquarium stop in particular will flood very frequently, especially in the winter when we have any kind of storm surge. Flooded train station. It's great. It's great. So Blue Line is generally the best. A Blue Line also goes to the airport, but it is not free and it is actually very far away from the airport. You have to walk quite a ways from E-Terminal to get there. And takes forever. It's just use the Silver Line. Nobody likes it, but it's faster. So yeah, and then we have the Orange Line. The Orange Line, aside from the boo boo noise that it makes, is generally pretty fine. Just don't sit down, or if you're going to sit down, make sure it's pants that you don't care about, or a skirt that you don't care about, because those seats are kind of grody. And don't touch anything. It's just kind of gross all around. Poor thing. But that one stops at the famous Bunker Hill Community College, which is one of the two big colleges in that movie in Boston with Robin Williams, which I'm suddenly forgetting. And it deals with a kid from Southie, played by Matt Damon, who... Yeah, Good Will Hunting. That's it. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Bunker Hill Community College is where Robin Williams' character taught, which is what you heard in the video that I played. North Stop Community College, HCC. Anyway, moving on. Now we have the Green Line. Now the Green Line is confusing because the Green Line is actually 5 different lines. 5? Wait, 4. 4 different lines. I'm sorry. It used to be 5, actually. The Green Line is split up into the B train, the C train, the D train, and the E train. For the most part, more or less wherever you're going, you can use the B, C, or D trains. All 3 of those will get you around the downtown area. Once you get to a certain point, however, you have to be careful that you're not on an E train, because then the E train will take you the wrong way. And it is very hard, especially in those stations, to go back. You cannot easily leave this, you cannot easily just go across to the other side of the platform, because we're talking about train stations that were built in the 1800s and early 1900s. So they are these compact, tiny little things underground, where in order to get to the other platform, you have to leave the station, pay to come back in the other side. It sucks. There are also numerous times where it actually intersects with other lines, but doesn't actually have an interchange because, again, these stations were built in like the late 1800s and early 1900s. Also, the Green Line is infamous for the Boylston Bend, which is a turn right around the Boylston Street station, which is a literal like full S turn. It's just kind of weirdly placed. So the trains are streetcars as well. There's streetcars later on. This is just really going deep into the weird thing. So there's streetcars later on. So these tiny little things, and they separate trains. They're not these big long trains. They're kind of tiny little things. And so they have to go around these tight bends, and there are really, really squeaky wheels. And that's the screeching that you heard in the first TikTok that I played. The screeching can actually get louder than airplanes taking off at Logan. And there was a great Boston Globe headline a little while ago that was talking about the lube they were using for the Green Line. I'm just going to see if I can find the exact wording, but oops, I opened another window. Okay. It's talking about Green Line. Green Line Oil Limited. Um, yeah, here we go. This is the best headline that I've ever seen in my life. And it wasn't the Boston Globe, it was the Boston Magazine. MBTA hopes new lube helps screeching at Boylston Street. Ugh. It just sounds awful, and it's great that that's a headline that I had to read, and now have read to you. So, MBTA hopes that lube will stop screeching at Boylston Street. So, the Green Line is lower on the list. It's also a streetcar at a certain point, like I said, and then all of those stations, including the underground stations, are very close together. Because again, late 1800s, Victorians hated walking. Um, so the street car, the stations are all very close together. It takes an incredibly long time for this train to move anywhere. It is not a fast train. When it's underground, at the very least, there's no traffic it has to deal with. When it's above ground, you're dealing with intersections, and the train, for some reason, doesn't actually have preference over cars for the lights. So you're literally going to take forever to get anywhere on the B line, especially the B line, because it goes down one of the busiest streets in the city. It books. That's the Green Line. And then finally we come to the Red Line, which is one of my favorites to talk about. The Red Line is the one that connects a lot of Cambridge to South Boston, so it's got a lot of really big stops on it, like Harvard, MIT. It stops at the JFK Library, and it's one of the newer lines in the city. And I don't know exactly who developed the timetable for it, but it feels very much like the operators push the trains very fast. Which might explain one of the many myriad of reasons, because the other is probably maintenance, because maintenance is terrible on the MBTA. Thank you, Governor Baker. I will try to vote you out as soon as I can. Any Democrat instead of Baker. Please support the MBTA. So, the Red Line has a tendency to hop off the rails, just completely derail, which puts such a snarl in the whole system that it just like shuts down an entire line and then ruins everybody's day. But yeah, if you're riding on the Red Line, hold on for your dear life, because you will rocket down those tunnels and you will feel the car like jostling, threatening to pop off the rail at any time. The Red Line is also the one that catches on fire the most often. And I know that sounds like a great sentence to be there. I'm not saying that the Red Line is the only one that catches on fire. I'm saying it's the one that catches on fire the most often. And so, yeah, it's just the one that, 50-50, it'll get you there on time and or combust and or fall off the tracks, or both. Why not both? So, no, not trash fires on the tracks. It's just electrical fires, poor maintenance. My personal favorite thing about the Red Line is that when it snows, it has a tendency to just stop working. Like the whole train just stops because it snows. We live in New England. We literally have an entire storm system that is known for depositing large amounts of snow, named after the region, and the train can't run in the snow. I have no idea why our system is set up this way. And the best part of this whole story is that in a recent ranking, it was found that Boston's MBTA was the second best public transportation system in the United States. Isn't that great? We're the second best in the United States. And we have all these problems. That's not good for the United States at all. It's not a yay Boston thing. It's yay, Boston isn't the worst this time. Woo! We're all just terrible compared to literally any other country's cities. I mean, maybe not every other. But, I mean, having taken Montreal's weird not train system, it's like they're trains, but they run on tires that also run on tracks. It's very weird looking. And it's especially weird to hear because the rubber tires make that like squeaky, rubbery noise as it runs across the metal. So you can hear it approaching, and it sounds like a fleet of cars running at you, or it's just really weird. Does Paris do that? That's really weird. Huh. I always thought it was a thing because Montreal winters just get so cold and that it was easier to maintain that than metal. But hmm. Anyway, having taken that, I mean, it didn't derail. It didn't stop. It didn't catch on fire. It didn't make noises. It made, I mean, awkward rubber semi mouth noises, absolutely. But it wasn't hurting my eardrums. So, yeah, it's definitely a weird train system, but whatever. So it's now 9:35. I did not mean for this to be one giant Boston bitch session, but here we are. I will say, I was debating pretty much all day whether I was going to stream or not because I was just feeling kind of tired. So if I ended up just sitting here and chatting and eating ice cream, don't be too surprised. While the game is running, though, I am about to start the game. I promise. I promise. We gotta get some actual Poirot action in here. Although for all of you Poirot purists in here, I unfortunately have to admit that this does not star David Suchet as Poirot, which sucks. MP59, rubber-tired variant of electric multiple units used on the Paris metro station. Weird. So it's only some of the metro. Okay. Interesting. They really did start it up back in like the 60s. Okay. Huh. Interesting. I don't know that I necessarily think it's better, but it's different, which is cool. You know. I really did think it was like a Montreal winter thing, because I mean, Montreal literally has underground tunnels to cross streets, or in some cases an entire underground mall, which was really cool and had a giant Barbie exhibit when I went there, just to keep you out of the cold, because it's just bitter cold. I mean, it gets bad in Boston, but it gets far worse in Montreal, because Montreal is also like further inland, and so it's more akin to like Western New York than it is New England. So it still gets some, you know, wet weather, more so than the Midwest, for instance, or like west of, or, you know, tundra, basically. But it's still, like, cold. Yeah, I went in November, and I'll admit November wasn't bad. November, for me, as a New Englander, felt more like early December when I went. So it was not a surprise to me. But it definitely was like, I could tell this was cold and it would get old real fast. The other thing that kind of surprised me about Montreal, compared to anywhere in the United States, honestly, was the rooms themselves. Like, so I was attending a conference at McGill, and I was in buildings that were built in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and like, the ceilings were so low in general. I don't know why, for some reason, there just wasn't a lot of vertical space in a lot of places, and that I just felt like was across the board. I don't know if anyone else got that idea. It wasn't necessarily even a thing because of, excuse me, it wasn't a thing because of it being old either. It's just, yeah, it's like a Montreal thing. I have no idea why. Have you ever been to Toronto? Like, is it like that there? I have some friends in Halifax. Maybe I should ask them. It's like something like that up there too, or whether they just know. I mean, they're close enough to Montreal that they've been quite a few times, I think. So, anyway, all right. So we ready for this tabletop session with Poirot and Hastings? Because Interesting. Yeah, it's only a Montreal thing. Wonder why that is. It's so weird. Sorry, hold on a minute. All right. I thought that was an important email, but I can deal with it later. Anyway, this is literally like a TTRPG session between Poirot and Hastings, where Poirot is the DM and Hastings is playing Poirot. So like, get ready for this. Kind of great.
Black curtains. How like a shroud they are. Forgive me, Hastings. The melancholy overcomes me often of late. I thank you for joining me on this night. The blackout, the air raid sirens. It is not a night to be alone, n'est-ce pas?
I couldn't agree more, old chap.
I have the bonne idée. How we will pass the hours
After watching
until
so
we know
many
for certain if tonight
Poirot
at last the
episodes,
bombers
it's
come.
just not.
You have asked me to tell you of the murder that occurred most recently at the Smuggler's Rest Hotel on Seadrift Island.
This is just not.
I know
This
I have
feels.
revealed little beyond the fact that Poirot was able to use their little grey cells to bring the affair to a satisfactory conclusion.
Anyway, one of the nice things that I do like about this is that it's modeled after the show
To think
Apartment.
that the case of Poirot's does not merit at least a single paragraph is yet one more outrage I lay at the feet of Herr Hitler.
At least the writing
Gobbles
is
up
accurate.
space in the newspaper the way he gobbles up so much of Europe, including my own beloved Belgium. But tonight, I propose to take our minds off of the horrors of war. I will not only share with you the events as they happened, but more. You have often complained in your very charming British way, oh so polite, that Poirot withholds important facts and clues.
Yeah, he's
so that you
trying,
have
but
no
he doesn't sound
opportunity
like
to serve
Poirot even.
yourselves the crap.
It's true.
Bon, I have applied the grey cells, and a solution has presented itself. Here is your opportunity, mon ami. I will tell the story so vividly to you that you will think you are there yourself.
Just
You
pull
will
out your
direct
dice.
Poirot's every action, every fact, every clue will be there in front of your eyes. I will eliminate any characters without a part in our little drama. The hotel? It was not as understaffed as you will see it. In the same spirit, I set the stage. Oh, do not concern yourself with missing rooms, Hastings. Only those locations of importance will be presented.
It is
There
hard,
will be
yeah.
no distractions. You will solve the case even as I did. Oh, peut-être. With a little hint here and there from the magical device you see there on that table. But no doubt, it will not be necessary.
Magical device?
It is called the Finger of Suspicion. It was given to me by a wizard, someone for whom I did a small favor last year in Manchester.
A wizard, eh?
Bien, sir. All you need to do is place one of these cards in the center of the machine. They each represent one of the players in our story. I will wave my hands above it so, utter the secret incantation, and it will point you in the right direction.
Well, for starters, it's complete rot. I know
The
you,
Hastings
Poirot.
is pretty
If
close.
anyone
at
has a
least.
more practical, clear-eyed view of how this world works, I haven't met him. You don't believe in magic. If you want to choose this method of giving me hints, I won't stop you. It'll be a treat to see you cavorting about like a stage prestidigitator. But I suspect the hints will somehow be coming from you.
If you are so certain it is nothing but hocus pocus, then would you be willing to try and solve the mystery of the Finger of Suspicion, as well as the murder on Seadrift Island?
Absolutely.
Very well. I will give you 7 clues at times of my choosing throughout the evening. Perhaps when you have all 7, you will be able to see the true genius behind the
I
Finger of
love Art
Suspicion.
Deco. Oh god, I
Here
love
is
Art
your first
Deco.
clue. Power.
Power? The power of magic?
I give you the clues, Hastings. Do not expect me to explain them as well. Explore my office first.
Excuse me.
Equip yourself for your journey
Um,
into the past.
Yeah, no.
Come to me
I would
when you are
love to
ready.
have a place that's.
In the meantime,
I don't
I
know.
will tell you
Art
3 little
Deco
stories to
buildings
whet
and
your
architecture, I love.
Make of these
Art
stories
Deco
what you will.
design, industrial
They
design
are
especially,
each
I
related
love.
most closely to the events on Seadrift
But a
Island
lot of Art
that
Deco
you and
furniture
I are about to explore. Keep
Doesn't
them
really
in
do it
mind.
for me.
Explore my office first. Equip yourself for your journey into the past. When you are ready to begin your investigation, tell me. My story, it will commence, and you will have your chance to solve the mystery.
Out here being a messy bitch. I was expecting him to...
I'm ready, Poirot.
I am sorry, Hastings. You have not obtained everything you may need for the investigation. Do you have something to carry the clues in? A notebook with which to record the facts? The stopwatch, should time prove to be an important factor? The picture of us that will be of more than sentimental value?
Give me a few moments more, if you will.
As you wish.
All right, all right.
The investigation has not yet begun, Hastings. Wait until you do not progress. Then you ask it for the hint.
All right, well, now we get to look around. Here we go. I hope you will accept these 2 tokens of my esteem, the book and the gadget. Been called a genius by many great men, from Ali Bay to Jasper Masculine, whom I have had the honor to build certain devices. I have now found in you a man I can truly call genius. Thanks for extricating me for that misunderstanding in Manchester. Unlike Houdini, I would have stayed in jail. One genius to another. Bill Nichols. He is a magician. Yeah, so I feel like for Art Deco especially, if you use mid-century modern furniture, especially the Hollywood, what's the exact style? Hollywood something or other. It's specifically called something like Hollywood something. Oh god. It's not coming to me. It's like Hollywood glam or Hollywood glamour or something like that. But it's like, you know, it's got a lot of the same kind of aesthetics. It's very clean, simple shapes. A lot of solid colors. In particular, like something like the bookcase here. If this were like all black and you had just concentric, not concentric, just circles going down here, and this back panel was like a mirror, like that would be pretty regular. And then the rest of this might just be like a simple pattern. That's where you get like big blocky shaped patterns in mid-century modern furniture. And in particular, it adds like that extra glamorous layer where it adds like gold accents or mirrored backing or stuff like that. So, it's things like that where I'm like, it would work well with, it would just work well with Art Deco in general, I think. Ah, so if you want to quit, you click the door. Ha, cute. Forgot about that. Nope.
A wise choice, Hastings. With this stopwatch, you will be able to determine the time it would take the suspects to make their way to the scene of the murder.
Can't call in Miss Lemon, unfortunately.
This document bears further study. I will keep it in my notebook. This looks interesting. This may be...
I really don't need the flavor text here, buddy. Just put it in your notebook and you don't need to say anymore. Alright, now we're ready?
I'm ready, Poirot.
You need only to touch
Yeah,
the portrait.
the Hastings is decent.
You're off. Notice how the portrait is now of Poirot. When you wish us to return to my flat, you have
We're
only
in
to touch
Poirot
my
headspace. Well, welcome to being Poirot, I guess.
They are blackout curtains, although at the moment, they are not drawn.
I will say they've got the little waddle walk down. It's great. The animators did a pretty good job of this.
Quite. The door. Pardon, mademoiselle. What is your name?
Gladys, sir. Oh, sir. If it's about the towels, the delivery hasn't come yet from the mainland. And that will is ever so unreliable.
There is no hurry. Poirot has completed his toilette.
Well, if it's the bed, I'll get to it when I can. There's so much to do.
Do not trouble yourself.
It's very true. I think Agatha Christie would have loved Suchet's Poirot specifically, because he gets all of the little... He just sinks his teeth into everything for what Poirot meant.
You seem out of sorts.
Brilliant,
Is something wrong?
haughty,
Oh, no,
annoying,
sir. No,
but
not really.
brilliant.
There. What is it?
It's that Will Jenks, if you must know.
You seem quite angry with this Will Jenks.
Will? Oh, he thinks quite a bit of himself, he does. Just because a girl might go with him to the films in Kingsbridge or have a bit to eat at the local, he thinks he's got her wrapped around his little finger. Thinks he can do whatever he likes when she's not around.
Is there another girl?
He says no, but I've seen her with him at the garage and walking in the high street. And she's still a child, too. But I won't mention names. It would cost me my job.
I am sure he will see the error of his ways, mademoiselle. Be patient.
Huh.
What can you tell me of Seadrift Island?
Only that I wouldn't stay around here after dark.
Why not?
There's a ghost. Old Tom Cutter's ghost. A smuggler and a pirate. Murdered he was. Shot down by government agents after his gold.
All right, we get some juicy stuff to start
You
with.
have seen this ghost?
I haven't, but many have. He haunts the pub here on the island what's closed now.
Thank you, madame.
Excuse me. And again. I just remembered it. Okay, so I did a little bit of looking because I couldn't let that stand. Hollywood Regency, also known as Regency Moderne. Hollywood Regency. That's the style that I was thinking of. Yeah, Google Hollywood Regency furniture, and you'll see exactly what I mean. A lot of that I feel would work really well in an Art Deco environment. And I think the Hollywood Regency era was a bit later than Art Deco, though, because it wasn't very... Hollywood Golden Era, roughly from the 20s to the 50s. So it would have overlapped with some... it would have overlapped with some Art Deco, but it wasn't Art Deco itself. But yeah, I think it drew a lot of from Art Deco, other previous movements, Beaux-Arts, Baroque.
The door.
No, don't go upstairs. Try these doors.
No. Quite sick.
Well, I don't like that it's securely locked.
Latched.
How can I snoop if it's locked?
No.
Everything's locked in this tree.
Hastings, please keep our goal in mind. That is not where it lies.
How do I know that?
No.
I don't actually know what our goal is right now.
Latched?
I like how he puts his hat on when he goes outside. It's cute.
The door.
Alright. Obviously he wants us to go downstairs, so let's go downstairs. Stop Poirot here.
Ah, Mr. Poirot. Good morning. All settled in, are you?
I mean, he
Yes,
has
Mrs.
tried his
Castle,
hands at
thank
lockpicks
you.
before, and
I
being
am
a
looking
thief,
forward
and
to
he
my little holiday from crime.
didn't
Anything I can help you
do
with?
much with, but, you know.
A most beautiful island. Where can I learn more of its history?
That brochure will introduce you to the colourful past of Seadrift Island and Leathercombe Bay. Once you've studied that, you'll probably have more questions. I'm from London myself, but most of our staff are local. Perhaps they can help you, and the villagers have all sorts of wonderful stories.
Have the coastal evacuations affected you yet?
As you can see from the register, our two largest parties have gone. In the past few weeks, the Smuggler's End pub here on the island has closed, and Leathercombe Bay is almost a ghost town. Every day I expect Colonel Weston to order the hotel closed as well. It's only a matter of time, I'm afraid.
Who else is staying here at present?
You are welcome to check the register if you wish, Mr. Poirot. Perhaps you'll find someone you know.
I shall not keep you any longer, Mrs. Castle. Merci.
If you need anything more, I'll be in my office.
One thing that I can say about Poirot and watching the series again is that every once in a while it's like when someone needs to chase after someone or tackle someone or stop them or whatever, it's suddenly like, Hastings, do the one thing you can do! But even that he fails at sometimes. I want to say poor Hastings, but also Hastings is annoying. Delightfully annoying? Something like that.
Well, Poirot, this will surely prove useful. I'll copy the valid information into my journal.
Alright, so who is here? Where is the journal? Major Montague Berry, Horace Blatt, Emily Brewster, Rosamund Darnley, Carrie Gardner, Oakley Gardner, Stephen Lane, Captain Kenneth Marshall, Linda Marshall, Christine Redfern, Patrick Redfern, Gladys Narracott. Ah, get it? Gladys Narracott. Anyone catch that? Anyone catch that? I'm gonna keep flashing pink at me until I on every single one. Okay. Only a few weeks after a 15-year-old Brixham schoolgirl was found murdered, a second strangulation death has been reported by the police. The body of the victim, Alice Corrigan, 32, of Totnes? Covered yesterday by a young woman, Elizabeth Stride, on a hiking tour of the Downs. Edward Corrigan, the victim's husband, is said to be prostrate with grief and vowed to offer an award for the rest of the killer. Corrigan was found returning home from London by train when his wife was murdered and is not considered a suspect in the case. Used to comment on whether or not two similar crimes in such a short period of time might indicate homicidal maniac is on the loose in South Devon. Oof. Right. Arsons. Over 1 month since the brutal murder by strangulation of 15-year-old Millie Parsons, no solution to the case appears in sight. The body of the victim, a student at Miss Porter's School for Young Ladies, was discovered by a search party just after midnight the morning of April 13th. She had attended a ballet class in town the evening before and was last seen walking to her school. A short walk took her through the woods known as Olmsted Copse, where her body was discovered. While it was reported that the police had at least one individual helping them with their inquiries, no arrest was made, and the individual is now said not to be a suspect. Police have interviewed the students and staff at the school, as well as the residents surrounding farms countless times in the intervening weeks, but without turning up any new drug smuggling story. Here we go. Members of the West Sussex Constabulary and Scotland Yard announced yesterday that they had arrested 3 individuals on charges of attempting to smuggle heroin into the country. Samuel Tanner, 43, of Burgess Hill, Thomas Mayhew, 35, of East Grinstead, and Oliver Bale, 33, also of East Grinstead, were apprehended while offloading their deadly cargo on the beach below Carey Spit. Sensational news was greeted with shock and dismay by local officials. A councilman, Stephen Eastman, noted that at a time when war hangs over us all, and everyone in England should be rallying together, to think that some of our own citizens would be capable of such wanton disregard for human life, simply to make a profit, is truly appalling. We can only hope that justice in this case is swift and sure. Ha 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 ha. Isn't it cute? Thinking that people have morals. Nightmare on Shipwreck Island. Here we go. The striking modern house built by sailing enthusiast Frederick Robson is the scene today of an intense police investigation into wait a minute. Shipwreck Island, Sticklehaven, 1939, and then there were none. That's what this is. I took a hot minute there. The scene today of an intense police investigation into multiple murders occurring there over the past weekend. The victims are reportedly from all walks of life and include several prominent figures of London society. Their names are being withheld, pending notification of their families. Little is known yet of the tragic events that unfolded on the island after a storm isolated what was to have been a house party hosted by the island's new owner, a Mr. U.N. Owen. We have been unable to reach Mr. Owen for comment, yet the police have been unwilling to confirm if he was one of the victims. Indeed, even the number of victims remains in question. Another nod to the lack of solid endings, several different endings. Early today, by an anonymous source, told the Sentinel that the murders were somehow linked to a child's nursery rhyme that eerily predicted the order and manner of the deaths. Readers may be sure that the Sentinel will bring you all of the latest developments in this shocking and mysterious affair. Ooh. All right. Okay, moving on. What's this way? Ah.
I say, the latest number of Motor Enthusiast magazine, Poirot. What a stroke of luck. I've been looking out for this one.
Oh, Hastings. What, I can't look closer at these anymore? Okay, so they must have changed how the UI works now. So instead of having to look at something and add it to my notebook, it's just there. I don't have to look at it anymore, I guess, because I can't. Oh, no, or I just double-click it. Never mind. There we go, I lied. Beautiful siege is riding a long and colorful history. First construction of the island was a Roman temple dedicated to Bacchus, the god of wine and intoxication. Okay. In the same spirit, 500 years later, Christian monks built a monastery upon the ancient Roman ruins and produced a brandy that was a favorite throughout the British Isles. 14th century, Smuggler's End Inn was built near the causeway, originally known as the Anmering Arms, after Sea Captain Roger Anmering. The name was changed in the mid-19th century to commemorate one of the inn's most colorful customers, Thomas Cutter. Tom Cutter was a smuggler and a pirate who used the inn and the island as his base of operations at the end of the 18th century. In fact, he is said to have died on the island, although there is conflicting stories as to the manner of his death. Tom Cutter also gave his name to Cutter's Cove, a popular beach on the south side of the island, as well as Cutter's Cave. That's not going to be confusing. Cutter's Cove and Cutter's Cave, where it is said that he hid his smuggled goods. 2 further stories of Tom Cutter concern the appearance of his ghosts in the vicinity of Smuggler's End, as well as the rumors that he buried a vast fortune and treasure somewhere on the island. Many claim to have seen his ghost, but so far no one has unearthed his treasure. In the first hotel that was built on the island in 1924 and then modernized 10 years later with all of the modern conveniences that provide such a comfortable destination for travelers the world over. Amateur mechanics. Time to move up from changing your oil. How to clean points. This is going to be useful, I'm sure. Oh, a bar. Le bar.
Sorry, sir, the bar won't be open till 11.
I am merely making the morning constitutional, young man. What is your name?
Henry, sir.
What can you tell me of my fellow guests, Henry?
Well, I not want to gossip, but Arlena Stewart, the actress, is staying here. And there's a Miss Rosamond Darnley in the dining room. I understand she's a famous dressmaker or something.
Oops, sorry.
Are you from Leathercombe Bay?
No, sir. I live in Kingsbridge. Lethercombe Bay is a bit quiet for my taste, especially now they've begun the evacuations.
How long have you worked at the hotel?
3 years. Don't know what I'll do when they close her down.
How do you like working here, Henry?
Well, it's very nice, usually. Of course, Mrs. Castle, the manager, is something of a tartar. I expect that's because she's new and wants to establish her authority. Come to think of it, Gladys hasn't been herself lately. The first floor maid. Look, I'm no gossip, but I think she's had a row with her young man, Will Jenks. I expect it's nothing really. Everyone's a bit tense these days.
I will leave you to your work, Henry.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, that email is done, and I no longer have to worry about the thing. That accent was probably south.
Alas, Poirot never learned to tickle the ivories.
Southeast.
Poirot, you employed that phrase correctly.
I hope you are not implying Poirot's English to be anything less than perfect.
Well,
Well, that is to say, I would never presume.
I think it's southeast English Isles. There's a very particular kind of noise that comes out of it. A rock. Just picking up the rock. Okay. A large rock. Excuse me. Oof. What I really like about the walk, though, is that
This is a useful
his
point to measure
steps.
the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder.
Yeah, but I don't know which one's Cutter's Cove is. His feet move at a different rate than the noises. We're gonna switch back. I will not be able to tell which way is which. That's not helpful at all. Nope. Also not helpful. Aha, that's where that door leads. There. Inside, they're better. Oh, look, another thing we can take.
Forgive the intrusion, mademoiselle.
Oh,
I did not mean to startle you.
not at all. I must have been miles away. You're Monsieur Poirot, aren't you? I understood you joined us last evening. I'm Rosamond Darnley.
Enchanté. What brings you to Seadrift Island, Mademoiselle Darnley?
A short rest before the fall season.
But of course, You are the proprietress of Rosemont, the fashion house. Your designs are first-rate. Hastings, what does Poirot know of such things?
I'm surprised you are interested in women's fashions, Monsieur Poirot.
Sometimes I surprise even myself, mademoiselle.
I like the little exchange. Again, this is literally just a TTRPG with Poirot as the character, his Hastings character.
It is very quiet
Poirot is
here,
the
n'est-ce pas?
DM and has to be
I
like,
don't mind the quiet.
I have to
There were
deal
a
with
number of
this.
children here until a few days ago. They were evacuated.
I
Ken's
mean,
daughter Linda is here.
I
but
feel
she's
like calling
16,
her,
hardly a
saying that she
child
looks like
anymore.
Judi Dench
I've
is,
had one odd incident.
I don't know, Judi Dench looks
a
better.
small crime even.
Sometimes the small crimes
She's
are
so-
but appetizers to a main course.
I brought a typewriter down to catch up on some correspondence.
I don't
It
know what her
disappeared from my
face is
room the
supposed
day
to
after I
invoke
arrived.
here. Her voice and her face don't seem to match, I will admit.
Have you been here on the island long?
Just a few days. It was a spur of the moment sort of thing.
Did you report the theft?
No, my jewelry and over £20 in my purse were untouched. I suspect someone simply borrowed the typewriter and will return it when they're finished with it. Rude, perhaps, but possibly not a crime at all.
I mean, borrowing it without asking is still stealing, sweetie.
What day did you find the typewriter missing?
The 20th.
Did anyone take an interest in the typewriter when you arrived?
Come to think of it, a man named Major Barry did make some comment, but I rather felt he was simply looking for an excuse to talk to me.
That will do for now, madame.
Okay, I dismiss you. Poirot, you're not very good with people, are you? Well, it's not totally true. Hastings isn't good with people, and Hastings is who we're technically playing. Hastings playing Poirot. Okay. Keep going around.
Hello! You haven't seen a tennis ball in the grass, have you? I had a lob go spectacularly astray.
No, monsieur. I am sorry.
You wouldn't be Hercule Poirot by any chance, would you?
I am Poirot. Monsieur?
Kenneth Marshall.
Poirotception.
That was my wife, Arlene.
She
Whoa!
is very charming.
Whoa!
Hastings, if you embarrass me, we will cease the investigation at once.
I mean, that happens all.
My apologies, Poirot. I'll try to remember who I am.
Listen, Poirot. This is a bit of luck finding you here. Something rather distressing has happened. Since our arrival here on Monday, Arlena has received two, what I can only describe as threatening notes.
Do you have the notes?
Well, yes, here they are. Arlena thinks I destroyed them, but I thought I'd better not.
Very wise. One moment, please, while I examine them.
Arlena refuses to take them seriously. She says people are often jealous of her due to her success and her beauty, and it's no more than that. I'm not so sure.
Not so sure.
You are right to be concerned.
Not so
In my
sure.
experience, Captain Marshall, the hatred to write such notes is one to take very seriously indeed.
Would you have a talk with Arlena and tell her that?
I will do as you ask.
Would I, though? Would I?
How did these arrive?
The first was simply shoved under her door. The second was found on her dressing table. Mr. Poirot, her door was locked.
When did Mrs. Marshall receive these?
That first note was found the morning after we arrived. That would have been August 20th. The second appeared yesterday. Knowing you are investigating has eased my mind enormously.
Captain Marshall, I will do what I can to assist you. But if I am to be successful, I must enjoy your wife's complete cooperation.
I hope you can succeed in convincing her of the gravity of the situation. If you'll excuse me, I have some letters to type.
He has some letters to type?
He seems unaware of the significance of what he has said. How many typewriters can there be on this island?
How many indeed?
Seems more likely Miss Darnley's typewriter was borrowed to write the notes.
It is possible.
You knew there might be a real danger to Mrs. Marshall even then.
Oh, my phone's a
Yes,
mess.
my friend. I
getting
could
fixed
feel
tomorrow.
something in the wind. The way sailors
It's
can
getting
sense
fixed
the
tomorrow.
approaching storm. It is an unusual wreck for a garden, lad.
It's to keep the clay of the court smooth. And from the look of that clay, it's about time for a good rake. Bit of a low spot in the near ad service court.
It is an unusual...
It's to keep the clay...
Random boards. Let's pick them up.
A sturdy post.
Boop.
A sturdy post.
2 sturdy posts. Alright.
This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder.
Yeah, but I don't know where Cutter's Cove is. Is that the thing down there?
You wish to eavesdrop, Hastings? As you wish. We will listen to their conversation.
Sightseeing is all very well, and I like to do a place thoroughly. But a quiet spot by the seaside where I can just sit and do my knitting is so relaxing, isn't it, Oakley?
Yes, darling.
And this is such a picturesque spot. Quite out of the world and at the same time very comfortable and most exclusive in every way, isn't it, Oakley?
Yes, darling.
Thrilling conversation here.
Bonjour, madame. Bonjour, monsieur. I hope I do not disturb you.
Why, of course not. He's not disturbing us, is he, Oakley?
No, darling.
You must be our newest addition. Mr. Hercule Poirot, the famous detective. You recall me telling you he would be joining us, Oakley?
Yes, darling.
I am Mrs. Carrie
Yes, darling.
Gardner.
No, darling.
This is my husband, Oakley.
Very pleased to make your acquaintances. Are you enjoying your stay on the island?
Very much. It's so peaceful and relaxing. So far from the cares of the world, isn't it, Oakley?
Yes, darling.
This is an interesting spot.
Yes, isn't it? Not as much wind, I think, as the terrace above the bathing beach or over at Sanctuary Cove. Oh, look, Oakley. There goes Miss Brewster again. Can't think where she gets her energy.
What business are you in, Monsieur Gardner?
Oakley is
Yeah.
retired, Mr. Poirot.
Northern
He
accents
was
are
manager and
something
owner
for
of
sure.
the Lake District's best-known theatre company.
These days I travel and indulge my passion for collecting rare coins.
Enough of that. I'm sure Mr. Poirot isn't interested in old coins.
Our fellow guests seem most charming.
You think so? Some are, of course. Others, well, I wouldn't like
Oh,
to say,
the
but I
weird
was
way
told
she
just last
I mean,
week
her
that
husband is
Stuart
an
woman
entity
is
now,
paying
only
far
known as
too much
Oakley.
attention to Mr. Redfern, wasn't I, Oakley?
Of course,
I'm
having
sorry,
run a theatre,
Oakley.
I'm well aware that actors aren't like us. They have different standards.
Lower standards.
Yes, darling.
And you should have seen Mr. Marshall and Miss Darnley laughing and joking yesterday. Everyone thought they'd just met, but apparently they are old friends.
I will leave you now.
You can't look out over the lovely ocean. A lovely ocean blue. Okay. Is this the bathing beach, or is this...
This is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the
is
spot
also
that will
not
be the
Cutter's Cove.
scene of the
Okay.
murder.
Beg pardon, sir, but the equipment shed is for my use only. You wouldn't believe it, but someone walked off with an oar a few days ago. What good is a single oar to anyone, I ask you?
Bap someone upside the head. What?
Morning, sir. I'm afraid the rowboat is out, but I could set you up with a nice rubber float.
No, thank you. Poirot does not float.
The
Oh,
bapping.
no worries, sir. A bit of exercise would soon help that.
see no cause for amusement. You are the beach tender?
That's right, sir. I keep an eye on the equipment, look after the grounds, the tennis court, and so on as well.
Do you enjoy your job?
It's all right. Not much for excitement. And the new manager's ever so strict. Henry the barman, though. He's my mate. Henry makes an excellent cocktail. He makes a superb Planter's Punch.
Only bappin'.
Direct from the Caribbean, it is.
Are you from this area?
Born and raised in Lethercombe Bay.
You must know many interesting stories of the area.
You mean Tom Cutter, the ghost, the treasure? Mr. Gardner was quizzing me about old Tom just the other day. Some will tell you it's just stories, but I saw him a few weeks back, white and glistening in the moonlight like he'd risen from the sea.
He has risen!
He was drowned?
Yes, sir. Some rival done him in. You'll hear other accounts, but that's my belief.
How do you know the figure you saw was a ghost?
Well, he disappeared into thin air, didn't he?
Where did you see him?
Outside the Smuggler's End pub well after midnight. He passed inside. I'd had my share of liquid courage, so I follows him. Down into the cellar he goes, so down I go. And what do you think?
He was helping himself to a tankard of grog? Grog? What is grog, Hastings?
Shh, be quiet, Poirot.
No, vanished into thin air.
What is grog, Hastings? Shh.
How long have you worked here?
Almost 10 years now, but that's all coming to an end.
Why is that?
Got my papers, didn't I? Reporting for duty next week. Navy frogman, that's what I'm going to be.
The tennis court is not very level.
It's that ad service court again, isn't it?
Well,
Yes, Poirot, that's the one.
Yes, it is as you say.
I'd better see to it. I work on that patch all the time, but nothing seems to work.
I will leave you to your duties.
Let's talk to this sad-looking gentleman that is almost certainly a middle-class
Capital. You must be that detective Johnny who arrived last
Major
night.
Montague Barry.
Major
Yep.
Montague Barry,
Military.
His Majesty's Army.
Capital morning. Capital.
It is a pleasure, Major Barry.
Back in the war.
You are on a bathing beach, but you do not bathe, Major?
No, never got the taste for it. The scenery can be quite pleasant, though.
The very model
Yes,
of a
it
modern
is
Major
very
General.
nice.
Nice? Now? Wouldn't say that. None of the finest sex about. Good-looking fillies, some of them. Where are they all, I wonder?
Better Major General had never sat a horse. Rode a horse.
Have you been
I
at the
thought about
hotel
lip-syncing to
long?
that at some
Couple
point.
of weeks, one last hurrah,
But even
you might
lip-syncing
say,
it is
before
hard.
Fritz arrives on our doorstep.
Yes, they are coming very soon now, I think.
Bombs first, of course, soften us up, or so they think. Not like India.
There it is.
There for the start of the third
Looks like
Afghan
India.
War.
I was there for the start of the Third African War. Now there was some war with an honor to it. Alright. Tone it down,
How
buddy.
did you come
Your
to see
racism
Cliff
showing.
I show my dogs over in Dartmouth twice a year. Train them, you see.
Show
Always told
my
myself I'd
dog.
stay here once when I got my chance.
Are your dogs here? At the hotel?
Not likely. They're safe at some kennels I found near Exmoor. Had to get them out of London, you see. Wouldn't have stood the bombing, poor beasts.
Do you know anything of the history of this place?
Not much. Heard some rot about Roman orgies way back when. Then some monks decided this would be a wonderful place to make brandy. There's that smuggler Tom Cutter, of course, who gave his name to a cove here on the island. Supposed to still haunt the pub. That's about it.
Any impressions of our fellow guests?
That actress is a fine specimen, no denying. The Redfern lass is not bad, but a bit too pale for my taste. I like 'em with a bit of colour. Miss Darnley, the dressmaker, she's quite attractive in her own way, too.
He's only
Enjoy
talking
the
about
scenery,
the
Major.
women and how attractive
I
they are.
will when it arrives.
What a dick. Moving on.
Hastings? I swim like the dolphin. I simply do not wish to swim at the present moment.
Or this looks like a rope.
A length of sturdy cord.
Called it. Alright, well. So this is the bathing beach. Which one is Smuggler's Cove?
Good morning, mademoiselle. May I join you?
I would be delighted. It's Madame Redfern, by the way. Christine. You must be Hercule Poirot, the famous detective.
I am he?
Modesty, old man.
You may have reason to be modest, Hastings. Poirot does not.
The old place was buzzing last night when you arrived.
Ah, it is a perfect day for sketching.
Yes, indeed. I'm trying to capture that sailboat down there.
I see it. The man at the tiller seems quite good.
I think that was
Horace
meant
Black.
to be a
He's a guest here.
cutscene, but we
He
didn't get a
spends his
cutscene.
time mainly between the bay and the bar.
A red sail is unusual, is it not?
Yes, quite.
What brings you to the Smuggler's Rest Hotel?
I'm here with my husband, Patrick.
Damn! Hastings.
It was his idea, really. He's the outdoors type. But I burn so easily, I'm afraid. I must take care.
Our time here may be cut short.
Because of the evacuation, you mean?
Many seaside resorts are already closed.
Yes, that's mainly why I agreed to come. This could be Patrick's last chance for who knows how long.
Where is your husband?
That's him down there, swimming.
Again,
Major
another
Barry has an
cutscene that just
eye for the
didn't.
ladies?
Definitely. Bit of a bore
I
too.
think that was supposed to
Full of
play
stories
a
about
video
the
of some
army in
sort.
India. That and his dogs. He apparently has many, many dogs.
What can you tell me about our fellow guests?
The game is
Well,
just not liking me, I
There's Emily
guess.
Brewster. You'll usually find her roaming about the island. Ballet instructor at school in North Taunton, I believe. There's a couple from up north somewhere. Gardeners. She'll talk your ear off. He's rather a dear, really. And Arlena Stewart, of course. You
Oh,
must
there's a
have
little bit
heard
of
by
venom
now
in
that
there.
She is here.
Oh, you know her?
My husband does. I'm afraid that's enough sum for me for a while, Mr. Poirot.
It has been a pleasure, madame.
Okay. So I think Smuggler's Cove is this
What
way?
are you thinking, Hastings?
Or not? Never mind. Okay. This way?
I imagine this was quite a beautiful structure before it went apart.
Yes, Hastings. Religion cannot be faulted for its aesthetic, at least.
Not wrong there.
I imagine this was quite...
Yes, this is a useful point to measure the time it takes to reach Cutter's Cove, the spot that will be the scene of the murder.
Calendar stone.
There is quite a passage down there. We will need something more than good intentions to shift this stone, however. This post looks like it was once an oar.
But what is its purpose now?
No, Hastings. The stage has been carefully prepared. We will not disarrange it until we know why and by whom.
Okay.
Curious, isn't it? It was an oar, I believe, planted quite securely in the ground now. I can't shift it. I'm Stephen Lane.
Hercule Poirot.
Ah, the detective. Maybe you have a theory what it's for.
Look at that
Without
fat
more
hip
evidence,
move.
a deduction is difficult.
Here you go, then. I found these near the edge of the cleared space. Chicken feathers, I believe. I think those stains are dried blood. Suggestive, don't you think?
Perhaps. Do you have a theory about this post and the clearing, Monsieur Lane?
I felt something the moment I arrived on this island, Mr. Poirot. It is especially strong here. I can only describe it as a feeling of evil. More than a feeling, it's almost a physical presence.
Yes. It is very romantic here. It is peaceful. The sun shines, the sea it is blue. But there is evil everywhere under the sun.
Hey, he said the title.
from Ecclesiastes. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full
I
of
love
evil,
priests.
and madness is in their heart while they live. Nowadays, nobody believes in evil. Even with what is happening in Europe, they want to think that reason and common sense will prevail. But evil cannot be reasoned with, and it is real. What's this?
Evil!
What
Go
brings
full
you to
Mermaid Man and
Secret
Barnacle
Island,
Boy.
Monsieur Lane?
My health. I am, well, I was the vicar of a church near Brixham. I became ill. I had to leave my church. I came here to heal among the historic churches and religious ruins of the area, like this old monastery. It dates back to the Middle Ages. The order
girl.
was most known for producing a passable brandy, I believe, but they never flourished. I expect that was because of the site they chose.
What is wrong with this site?
It isn't the only Christian edifice erected on top of more ancient construction, as I'm sure you know. In this case, there was a Roman temple here, 500 years before the monks arrived. Unfortunately, it is believed it was a temple to Bacchus, a particularly nasty cult notable for debauchery and licentiousness.
Bacchus, eh? That
I
might
don't
explain
know.
the decent brandy.
I think that I like that
I
idea.
was searching for evidence of the earlier temple when you arrived. I found an opening beneath one of the walls over there, leading down into the earth. But it's blocked by a sizable stone. I was hoping to use
Oh,
this
were you
post as a
looking
lever,
for some
but it's
licentious
immovable.
and depraved acts down there?
What do
Is
you
that what
think
you
of
were
our
looking
fellow
for?
guests?
I haven't spent much time with them, I'm afraid. I've been poking around out here mainly. If I could get some idea of the location of other nearby religious sites, I expect I'd be off to visit those. I think it would do me good after this place. Mr. Poirot, I'm feeling under the weather. These ruins take it quite out of me, I'm afraid. If you'll excuse me.
What if
But of
someone said,
course.
if you'll excuse me, and then you replied, no? Like, if you'll excuse me, and you're just like, no, no, I don't think I will. I want you to stay here. Ah, is this Smuggler's
This is a
Cove?
useful point to measure the time
Cutter's
it takes
Cove.
to reach Cutter's Cove.
It is
The
still not
spot that
Cutter's
will be
Cove,
the
okay.
scene of the murder.
This is probably a child, isn't it? Means it's gonna be annoying.
Bonjour,
Very
mademoiselle.
tall child?
Hello.
I am Hercule Poirot, a fellow guest who has arrived only last night.
I'm Linda, Marshall. I'm here with my father and his wife.
And his wife.
What about the pile of brush interests you so?
It is just a pot of brush, isn't it?
You wish it were something else?
I was trying to make a blind so the Gilmores would come closer.
A hunter's blind?
I don't want to hunt them. They're wonderful creatures. I just want to study them.
I would offer my assistance, but Poirot knows nothing of blinds, I am afraid.
Wait, Poirot. That won't do. Did you make a blind for the girl, or didn't you?
That is to say, I might be able to construct one?
You just didn't want to admit you'd done any physical labor.
You know nothing about them, but you can build one.
Yes. Is it not strange how we can feel such contradictory notions sometimes?
This is
Oh,
okay.
those. I have them all the time. I'm a mass of contradictions.
Guillemots? The birds?
Yes. Do you know about them?
I cannot say I do.
Hold on, Poirot, I do.
Now let the child speak, Hastings.
Oh. Oh, rather.
Brother.
They are really quite common. These are of the genus Urea algae. They live in great colonies. They look almost like penguins, don't they? They waddle along and bow to one another. And sometimes they purr, almost like kittens.
Good heavens, Poirot. I never thought of it before, but do you know who they remind me of?
They are truly marvelous. They seem to like it here.
They remind you of a certain Belgian
The
detective.
government made it a sanctuary for them. That's what this place is called now. Sanctuary Cove.
What brings you to the Smuggler's Rest Hotel?
It was Arlena's idea. That's my stepmother.
Are you enjoying yourself?
No, I hate it. I don't know why we're here.
Oh well, The summer it is almost past. I think your school it will be starting again soon.
Miss Porter's? I suppose so. I wouldn't know.
Miss Porter's? Estes, the name of this school is familiar to me. There is a newspaper account in my files.
I
What
love
do
all
you
this
think of your fellow
expositionary
guests?
Miss Darling's
conversation. It's
nice,
just very
and
slow.
Christine Redfern is too. But I hate her husband.
He is unkind to you?
No, it's my father I care about. He can't see it, but I can. I see what's happening.
It has been a pleasure, mademoiselle.
Can you really make her blind? I'm no good at it at all.
I will try.
Thank you.
Hastings, what have you gotten me into now?
Relax, old man. All we really need is some cord, a couple of sturdy posts, and something to anchor it all with. Tent stakes, for example.
Well, I got 2 or 3 of
Tent
those.
stakes. On an island with a perfectly good hotel. Why would anyone need tent stakes?
I don't
Well,
know.
I see your point.
Do I have something that'll work though?
Hastings,
Relax.
tent stake.
Oh,
Tent
That
stakes.
will not help.
So, alright, well then where is the other... We're now here then. Means, okay, Rocky Bath, which must be in the bathing beach. So we're walking on this side of the island. We need to go all the way around to the other. Okay. I just want to find where the damn thing is for. Which should be something like this, right? Yeah, there we go. Oh, look, another child.
Hello there.
Oh, nope.
Good morning, mademoiselle.
40
I am
woman.
Hercule
Never
Poirot.
mind.
Emily Brewster. Pleasure to meet you.
You rest from your exertions?
No, I teach ballet to a lot of energetic young girls. It would take more than a little row around this tiny island to wear me out.
She's
I don't know
fucking
if you noticed,
strong.
but I found what looks like the carving of a dart on a rock on the path there when I came down to bathe. It appears to be quite old. I was curious to see if there were any more carvings along here.
And have your investigations met with success?
Nothing so far. The sea may have worn any away, I suppose.
Are you enjoying Seadrift Island?
To tell you the truth, Mr. Poirot, this was a necessary trip for me. I lost a very close friend several months ago. I'm here to try and come to terms with her death, and to reclaim my life if I can. Forgive me for being so frank to an innocent question. I'm not sure why I said that.
Not at all,
Very
mademoiselle.
forward. Alright.
People often find they can confide in me.
Of course. You're that Hercule Poirot.
There is more than one?
I've heard of you, of course. I apologize I didn't make the connection at once.
Have you been here at the hotel long?
9 or 10 days.
Have you formed any impressions of our fellow guests?
Are you down here on a case, Mr. Poirot?
No, no. For a short holiday only. Forgive me if the question was impertinent.
Oh, I don't mind. Let's see. Horace Black is a wealthy businessman, of the sort one tries to avoid in London. Loud and boorish. I think he finds us all rather boring. The Redferns seem like a nice couple, but I've noticed a tension between them. If you want my opinion, Arlena Marshall is at the bottom of it. She's one of those women men seem drawn to, and other women tend to hate.
Do you choose to bathe here instead of at the beach?
Yes, I do so every day. It's just a few steps from the hotel. And there's this one gentleman, Major Barry, who seems to take a rather obvious interest in women in bathing attire.
Ugh.
Makes my flesh
Yep.
crawl.
Oh, I've
So I
noticed.
try to avoid the beach.
Good luck in your investigation.
I
Thank
have
you.
noticed. All right. Where's that? All right, so let's do the timings. So we have to start all the way over here. How do we do this?
From Sanctuary Cove to Cutter's Cove, it is 15 minutes.
Oh, you just... I don't have to actually... Okay.
Well, this is neither... From the monastery ruins to Cutter's Cove.
Okay, Cutter's Cove is the one
12
with
minutes.
the ladder. Okay.
Well, this is... This is a useful point to... From the tennis court to Cutter's Cove, it is 20 minutes.
20 minutes. A long fucking walk. Damn, like in general. From Cutter's Cove to Cutter's Cove. Oh.
From the ledges to Cutter's Cove, it is 6 minutes. Well, this is... From the bathing beach to Cutter's Cove via the path, it is 18 minutes.
Via the path. Sounds rather straightforwardly. There's another way to get there. Okay, you could swim. Okay. Hotel to Cutter's Cove. Okay. Front of the hotel, I assume?
From the hotel to Cutter's Cove, it is 25 minutes.
Okay, there you go.
Sir, I really can't talk right now.
Please don't think me rude, but I need to be alone for a while.
I don't think I have anything in my... I need something to finish the blind for. Not sure where to go for that. Oh, the rocks. Okay. There should be another rock that I need. Poirot, who is known to be not very physically capable at anything, is carrying these large rocks just in his pocket. Don't think too hard about it, I guess. This is not the right beat. Excuse me. There we go. I missed it.
I imagine...
Yes, I...
Okay. Boop.
Perfect. Now let me handle this, Poirot.
As you wish.
Not a bad blind, if I do say so myself. Not a bad blind.
Not a bad blind if I do say so myself. Right, well. Walk away. We're not done exploring yet, though, are we? No, there's... You can go into the town at some point. I just don't know how this works. Too far. Yeah, this way. Okay, down the driveway.
Latched tight on the inside. I did not mean to frighten you, my friend.
You didn't, and I'm not.
The pub, it is open?
No.
You have the binoculars, I see.
What of it?
They are for the watching of birds?
Yes, I'm very fond of birds.
Are you staying at
Sounds
the
like
hotel?
someone who is not fond of
Are
birds.
Mais oui. Hercule Poirot, at your service.
My name is North.
Just North. Nolan North?
If he's a bird watcher, I'm a penguin, Poirot.
Shall we follow him? It is up to you.
He's up to something, Poirot. Are you going to let him get away?
My shoes are of their finest leather, buffed to a perfect sheen. I will not be subjecting them to seawater.
Take them off, then.
Hmm.
If you wish to cross the causeway, summon the sea tractor. I will not wait.
Oh, for pity's sake. Phone isn't much good if no one will answer it.
Poirot will not be wading in this story. That must be clear.
Hmm.
Phone isn't much good if no one will answer it.
Hmm. Okay, so it looks like I've done everything for this day. Why won't it end? Oh, okay. Now we get to try one of the weird little mechanics in the game. The Finger of Suspicion.
Mind giving the Finger of Suspicion a spin?
It will be my pleasure.
Here we go.
Place the card in it, please. Heed our call. Provide us with the knowledge which we, and by we I refer to Hastings, cannot acquire by
By
our own
we.
resourcefulness.
Oh no, it's a full TTRPG.
Fantastique. The finger, it may not be the objet d'art, but you must admit it is quite effective.
Finger on a moving plate.
Heed our call. Voila! The finger of sus.
Okay.
We beseech powers from Huh? Can the...
That's it. Alright, so... back into the game we go, I guess. It is really weird, yeah.
Mrs. Castle would likely throw me out on my ear if I began rifling through her office.
Yeah, but there's this green thingy, like, right there. I want to know what it is.
Was there something else, Mr. Poirot?
Is the hotel safe at the disposal of guests?
Of course. We'll be happy to store any of your valuables.
I mean, yeah, that's true. It's
Have you
mostly
been the
just
manager here
weird
long?
because the idea
Only a
of
few
Poirot being a
months.
DM is hilarious
Not
to
quite
me.
the situation I was hoping for, and it won't last much longer thanks to the war.
Are there any golf courses nearby on the mainland? Hastings, Poirot does not play their golf. Remember where, who you are.
Sorry, old man.
I will not impose upon you further, madame.
Mr. Poirot, there was one thing.
Oui, madame?
It's such a small matter, I feel silly bringing it to the attention of a gentleman with your reputation.
Do not let the reputation of Poirot cause you to hesitate in your inquiry.
Well, my wire recorder has gone missing. I used to dictate all my letters for a girl in the village to type. She's learning to type, so she brings her own typewriter. I need only supply the paper.
When was the wire recorder taken?
Sometime on the evening of the 19th.
That was a really well-recorded voice line.
Do you lock your office?
There has never been any need. I lock the safe, of course. That is where all the valuables are kept.
Did anything else out of the ordinary happen on the day the recorder went missing?
Let me see. Well, that was the day Arlena Stewart arrived. A celebrity such as she causes quite a stir.
I am not sure what I can do, but I will be happy to keep my eyes and ears open, madame.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Poirot.
A wire recorder? Those things are huge. Shouldn't be difficult to track down.
Pardon,
Wire
madame?
recordings are the weirdest thing to me. Like, imagine a tape player, but it's a piece of wire instead. They are so weird and so finicky. Wire recordings are all there is.
Latched. Quite secure.
I can't talk now, sir.
Latched. No. Latched. No. The door. Quite securely
Okay,
locked,
there
I
must
am
be
afraid.
someone that I haven't talked to yet. Patrick Redfern. I haven't talked to Patrick Redfern yet. And then I haven't talked to the actress whose name I'm suddenly forgetting. Elena Stewart, tennis court. Although it's not telling me that I. Mm-hmm. Okay. I should be done.
Let's quite si Let's
Oh, here we go.
Maybe an Hastings.
Okay, another
You have made
cutscene
good
that's not working.
progress. The principals of the cast
Kind of
have
annoying
made
that the
their entrances.
cutscenes aren't
You have
working at all.
explored as much as was possible to me on the morning of August 24th. You have uncovered some of the mysteries that made me uneasy, even then.
Did you already know murder was in the wind?
It was very clearly indicated, mon cher.
Why didn't you stop it?
If a person is determined to commit murder, it is not easy to prevent them. I do not blame myself for what happened. It was inevitable.
What are my next steps?
When you are ready, we will continue our little game. I was able to explore further. Introduce yourself to the residents of Leathercombe Bay. Look for opportunities to assist anyone you can in the village or on the island. They will appreciate your thoughtfulness and will be more likely to help you when you need a favor in return. As before, if you find yourself unable to progress, I will assist with the magic of the Finger of Suspicion.
Yes, uncanny, that gadget. I believe you promised me a second clue to unravel its mysteries.
Quite right, my friend. The clue is lamp.
Power. Lamp. Illuminating.
Illuminating, get it? Okay, so, I just have basically found out that apparently the triple pack version of this game, which is what I have, has no cutscenes, which explains why they're just not playing. Cutscenes do not work. Sketch past them, cannot think of a way. Alright. Because I'm now reading that it's you can't finish the game. Which is not good. Frig. Not good at all. Okay. Trying to, like, they literally shipped a physical disc copy of these games that does not work. Is that what this is telling me? Like, does the patch do? Okay. Trying to see if there's anything out there about like, this is how you fix this. Because I want to be able to play this game, please. I spent quite a lot of money to get it, because this one in particular, of the three, was the hardest one to find. Okay. Oh my god. I can't stand when my laptop suddenly decides that it to alert me to every single possibility that there's an update and your machine is no longer under warranty, and I know I've had it for over a year. I don't want to extend the warranty anymore. Okay, wait. So I just have to put the disc in? Is that what this is basically telling me? I think it might just be you have to put the disc in. Which is in of itself going to be its own fun thing. I didn't... Okay, I'm going to save, just in case. We're going to see if we can make this work. Where's this? I don't even remember where. Oh, that's a bag of chips. I forgot that's there. I don't remember where my CD drive is. There we go. I have no idea. The fact that this is even a possibility is amazing to me. I mean, just yeah, this is. I know that these games were plagued by, you know, some issues, and you can see the graphics, that even at the time they were released, there were numerous reports of people being like, this is what the graphics look like? But, like, I have already had so many troubles trying to get the frickin' disc to work in the first place that I am not feeling great about this already. So we're gonna see if I can make this work. Alright, let's find out. Give me a minute. Oh. Okay, I've got it here. Hopefully it will work. The digital ROM. So I will admit, first thing I did when I wanted to play these games was try and find a way to just download it, including some not so good ways to try and get a hold of it. And the answer is no. The answer was kind of a resounding no, actually. It was almost impossible to get a hold of these things. That's why I had to resort to buying them from Canada. An eBay seller in Canada was how I got a hold of it. It's still is just kind of hilarious to me, but here we are. Did it work? Not running right now, but it's not letting me open. Application not found. Okay, so I'm assuming that means that it didn't work. Sometimes this... I literally need to listen to it. Tell whether it's running or not. There it goes. Okay. I don't know why it has such trouble reading the disk in the first place. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on. I was able to install the games from this, but it just took like all day to get it to work. So, I'm not sure what is going on with it. I can't remember exactly what I did to get it to work either. I can't remember if it was like just I can't remember if it was just like a thing that just like it started working all of a sudden, or whether it was more like I had to restart it several times, because I know at least when I was installing it very much was like just let it go, it will finish. It's taking forever because it's a game from the early thousands, or actually I think this one was released in 2008. There's almost no reason for it to be this bad, but like you can literally hear it go like like it's struggling. There's no reason that this should be struggling to read what is essentially just a DVD. The DVD-ROM, that's it. Not hard. I mean, it it was and it wasn't that long ago. I mean, yeah, sophomore year high school. But at the same time, in terms of games, at the very least, like it shouldn't be having these kinds of issues. This is like, if I can install a game from the 90s or easier than I can install these games, there's a problem with. So yeah, I'm not sure what's gonna happen now. Trying a couple of different things. Moment. I mean, neither was I. Back in 2008, I insisted on wearing suits to school every single day if I could. Suits, sweater vests. I wore a tie all the time. I absolutely hated wearing dress shirts with no neckwear at all, which I have relaxed my issues with, but still have issues with just in general. It's not nice to have some kind of neckwear, I find. Never thought about doing my hair. I think I was so set in my ways at that point that like I refused to even get a different haircut. It was the craziest thing when I brought in a picture of Zachary Quinto and was like, I want this hair instead of the normal haircut that I've been getting since I was a child. I don't remember when I started on the undercut. I think it was somewhere around then when I started getting that. And look at all of this hair now. It is so much of it. Oh my god, there's so much of it. It's just poof, bam, hair. It's there. There's a lot of hair. And sometimes I wish it didn't stick as far out, but it's fine. It's long enough that it goes back now, so I hope that works for work. I believe so. They haven't raised any issues with it, and since I'm going to be going back into the office for the first time in months on Friday, no less. Really can't tell if it's running or not. I'll just keep running it and hope that it works, I guess. Oh my god. One used for $100 fucking dollars? Holy shit. From 46.43 for one game. Ugh. Yikes. I found one here. $14.99. That's $6. There we go. That's even better. Where are these $50 ones coming from? Jesus. 3 discs. 3 whole discs. Heart of Texas Goodwill. Alright. Discs show no sign of wear. As is non-refundable. I might literally have to buy another copy of this in order to make this work. Oof. Just oof. Oh. It's making noise. Ah! Ah! Okay. It knows what's going on. Alright, so let's see if this works now. I told you. It's gotta get going. It's gotta do its thing. Alright. Let's see if this works. I don't know when the first cutscene really was, though, is the problem. I'm just gonna hit play game. We're gonna try starting a brand new game and try
I couldn't agree more.
skipping through all this
I
dialogue.
know I to think that he gobbled you ever. It's true. Bon. You will the hotel. Oh, do not. Oh, put magical. It is called a wizard. Bien sûr.
Well, for start, if you want it,
If you ask.
absolute.
Very well.
Power?
I give you make of explore?
I'm ready.
I am so... This stop.
Give me
We're
a few
going.
moments more.
Oh, I was actually talking to him. Okay, so yeah, I gotta grab the thing. This.
Why?
Is that everything? No.
I'm ready.
You need only...
Okay.
Notice...
And we do it again. Okay. I'm gonna ignore all of you. Ignore you. I just want to see if the cutscenes work now, because if they don't, I do not want to go through the whole thing again.
What are... This is a useful... This is a useful... Hastings?
Morning, sir.
No.
Oh, no worries.
I see no... You are...
That's right, sir.
Do you in...
It's all right.
Are you...
Born and raised...
You must...
You mean Tom...
He was drowned?
Yes, sir.
How do you know they...
Well, he disappeared.
Where did you...
Outside the...
He was helping him... Grog?
Shh. No.
How long have...
Almost 10 years.
Why is that?
Got my papers,
I
did I?
will leave you...
Where? Oh, wait, no. When I talked to Mrs. Redfern.
Good morning, Mademoiselle.
I would be done.
I am here.
Modestio.
You may have...
The old place.
It is a...
Yes, indeed.
Nope.
I see.
All right.
The man at the tiller
Cool.
seems quite good.
That's
This game is
Boris
literally
Black.
just broken.
He's a guest here. He splits his time mainly
Oh
between
my
the bed
gosh.
and the bar.
A red sail is unusual.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Ah!
What brings you to...
I'm here with
Oh my god.
Damn.
Okay.
Hastings?
It was his...
What can...
Well, and...
I mean, there's no reason
know
to prolong this. Just, oh gee, I'm so. I don't even know what to say. Holy crap! Oh, that's not the right one here. There we go. Just, I had no idea it was gonna be. There's literally no way for me to ever have a stream where something does not technically go wrong. I swear to God. Oh my God. Literally no way. Literally no possible. Holy crap. Ugh. That's so bizarre. Like, why? Why is it so bad? Yeah, we are dealing with niche games, I guess. Just, I don't understand, like we had talked about earlier, how it is even possible that a version was shipped where it doesn't work. Like, and no one has fixed it either. Like, it just doesn't work. I also kind of almost refuse that. Okay, wait. Here we go. I found some stuff with... Okay, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Okay, did you get it as part of the Triple Murder Mystery Pack? That version is missing cutscenes the manufacturer screwed up. They did, what a shame. Is there any way to fix it? Any way to fix it? No. I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm almost on the fence as to whether it's worth getting another game. But yeah, the game is not completable without these bits of information. Also, you will not be able to watch the ending after all your hard work. Aha! But never fear, there is a solution. There is a patch to fix this problem, and after running the patch, there appears to be no glitches or bugs in the game. Patch can be found here. At a website that doesn't exist anymore. Okay, let's see if we can get something out of that, though. That's not necessarily a complete ending point here. Let's do, what's it called? Archive.org. We're doing some deep internet stuff here. Let's show you what I'm doing so you guys at least know. This is some, oh, has not. Interesting. All right. What does this one look like? This is one of the most useful tools. The whole internet, I swear. Agatha Christie Mysteries. Okay, let's see if that works. Damn! Page is not available on the web. I know it is. PID 876, which is the one that it was. So I can't even find the name of the file. Okay, alright. Murder under the sun. I'm an idiot. Evil under the sun. Okay. There's a thing for Big Fish Games from like 10 years ago. I love that every time I have to do this, it's like deep. The Adventure Company has released the first patch for Agatha Christie Evil Under the Sun, which brings the game to version 1.1. I am really nervous about clicking on anything that looks like this. I'm gonna just move this a little bit so that I can. No, I'll go back. Look in your game manager next. Okay, that's for you have it through Big Fish. Not what I want, which I should have known. Okay. Put the link on this webpage. Dreamcatcher Interactive doesn't exist. All right, let me try this in archive.org. This is like a weird example of just weird internet. It doesn't work. Okay. Well, it had something. Okay. See if there's anything here. No. I just hesitate to download. Okay. I hesitate to just trust random people on the internet, but Oops. Long hand position. Alright. Again, back to archive.org. This is why us librarians are really nervous about any kind of lack of what's it called? Archiving. Okay, so it is really just Agatha Christie Evil Under the Sun patch.zip. That sounds trustworthy, and I doubt that if I click on this it's going to work. Since this is back from 2015. Yeah, that's what I thought. The Internet Archive can do a lot, but holding on to old files that don't exist anymore is not one of them. This is like weird internet archaeology. And what I love about this is that, you know, it was clearly on Steam at some point back in 2010, but it's not anymore. It's just gone. Which is how I was trying to get it originally. But, like, it's just, nope. Okay. Well. This feels safe. Oh, this feels real safe. What that mean? Okay. Make sure I scan this. Oops. Okay. Nothing found. I mean, the problem with it really is that there is no legit site anymore. The site is just gone. Oh. Okay. So I'm just making sure that I scan each one of these. No current threats. Okay. No idea what's gonna happen here. I mean, it's giving me an install shield. Wait a minute. Where is the actual thing? Is it C program files 86 Adventure Company? Oh, I forgot. I still have these plugged in, so I'm not actually hearing any of the alert sounds. That's a very good point. Sorry about that. Okay, I don't think it's... Where did I put this? Definitely on C, though. Ah, because it's under Joe Wood. Okay. Because it was a different publisher. This is the English release, I think. The British release. Oh, it's playing music too, isn't it? Yep. Okay. You must restart your computer. Can we not? Can I just not? Okay, so that either is gonna work or it's not. Let's try it again. Yes. There's a new shortcut. uts.exe, although I think it's the same as this one. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not so sure that I do actually have to restart, to be honest. So let's try it again. Here we go. Program is already running.
Oh, you know her?
Oh. I never closed it. Shit, fuck, okay. How did it work with... Oh no, I may have royally messed that up. Oh no. Well, let's try it again. I don't know. This is just gonna be a troubleshooting stream? I mean...
Black curtain. Forgive. I couldn't agree. I have the bon. I know
Alright.
to think that he got
Yeah, I have no idea how I
whoever-
patched files and used.
True. Bon.
Maybe it didn't?
You will do the hotel.
I mean, maybe the game client basically has program, code saying play this file and then continue, and it couldn't find the files, so it just continued, and it basically just added the files in.
Explore.
Okay. See if this is even going to work now. Notebook.
I'm ready. You need on. Notice.
All right. Here we go. Been quite the journey so far, and it's already almost midnight. I played through a ton of this game without apparently knowing that it was broken the whole time. And therefore have messed up my whole 2-week thing, of course. So just in case, I've also downloaded battle.net so I can play Overwatch if I need to. So we're ready. Okay. So I know that when I say
I would be
sketching.
Modesty. You may have.
The old plate.
I deserve.
Yes, indeed. I'm trying to capture that sailboat down there.
No,
I
fuck,
see it.
damn it.
The man at the tiller.
That's
Fuck. Okay.
yes, quite.
What brings you?
I'm here with my.
Damn.
Okay. Again, no reason to sit and wait on ceremony here. Just end the process and be done with it. I mean, that might be where we're going at this point. I wonder how many more viewers are just gonna hop on because it's just a word of a game that's popular instead of these really niche games that I usually play. Nope. Wrong one again. Wrong one again. Oh god. Oh no. Go. Screen was all messed up and it had me having a moment. Okay. Okay. I have an idea. One more idea. I'm going to uninstall Evil under the sun. Completely. All of it gone. Just gone. Doesn't mean that we lose all of our information that we got. Ah, this is so crazy. For some reason, it had 2 different installations as well, so I'm wondering... Ah, come on. Remaining is 0 seconds. 0 seconds means it's done. Done means stop now. You must restart your system. Okay. Alright, so I guess we're going to have to take a quick little break here. Hopefully I'll be back relatively soon and we'll have some news. At least we're going to try and figure this out. So stay tuned. I'll be back in a bit. I hate this.